friends. Happy Tuesday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a little bit of a sweeter day surrounded by people that you love. Happy Valentine's Day. So we had our meeting. We started at 9 and just ended, and it's about 12:40. This was the first meeting where we had land acknowledgements. And so I just want to thank publicly, I've sent him texts and emails, but thank you, Chairman Peter Yucopicio from the Pascoyaqui tribe for joining us. I think that he exceeded any expectation I could have on what this very first reading of the land acknowledgement would be. And I think that everybody, it just started the meeting off in such a wonderful note. So thank you so much for that. We also had a proclamation of Black History Month, and Dr. Cherry Meeks, the chair of the NAACP, joined us, and just, again, what she said, I love the proclamation was great, but what she said was just fantastic. And so we'll make sure to put the link here so you all can see that. But thank you to Dr. Cherry Meeks for representing the NAACP and accepting the proclamation. That it was beautiful. So I do want to say that it is Love of Reading Month. It's February, and so I've had the opportunity to go to CE Rose in Bloom and plan on visiting at least another 20 schools between now and the end of the month. But I'm probably going to continue the trend because love of reading should be all of the time. And as a daughter of a librarian, wife of a librarian, and sister to a librarian, it's really important for me to really push literacy because it was something that I have benefited greatly from. So one of the things that I'm giving away, I like to give little goodies to all of the students that I read to. And I'm taking this coloring book. It is our District 5 Amigos, Plants and Animals of the Sonoran Desert, and it's in English and Spanish. It's a coloring book. And the illustrations were provided and drawn by my incredibly talented brother-in-law, Mr. Dr. Floyd Thompson III. And so thank you so much for everything that you helped to contribute here, and to our staff member, Samantha Neville, for really taking this project on. It's great, and we're going to be giving it out. So if you'd like to have some of these coloring books for your classroom, it's really targeted to elementary, but if I'm open if you are. And so if you'd like some, go ahead and email us and we'll be sure to get some of those out to you if I'm not visiting your classroom. So I want to go through the agenda. We had a lot of hearings for liquor licenses, which I thought was interesting, but the bigger items came on the addendum. And so one of the first things that we really discussed was Pima County's role and the health department's role in schools. This is something that has come up way too many times for us to continue to rehash. We also had the same sort of discussion regarding Pima County Library and their mask mandate and medical exemptions. And I continue to support our librarians and staff. And what they're doing is, if someone is refusing to wear a mask or unwilling to or unable to, that they're taking all of the services curbside as much as they can. And so I appreciate what they're doing and want to make sure that we keep them safe. We did have right after that, we had an item extending the mask resolution. And so I moved the item, and Supervisor Hines seconded the item to really extend the mask mandate through March 28th and have a discussion before the March 28th deadline to kind of reassess and see where we are. Unfortunately, that item passed, the item failed 3-2. And so Supervisor Hines and I were hoping to extend the mask mandate, and our colleagues did not want to. I just want to highlight some data that Dr. Garcia gave us, which is basically, we still had last week 3,375 cases of COVID positive people last week. And so Omicron, while it is waning, is not gone, and neither is COVID. And so I think it's so important for us to keep everyone as safe as possible. We're still 322 over 100,000 people that are testing positive, and that still ranks us at the high transmission rate. We're still 15% of all COVID tests are positive, and so I was hoping that would pass. It didn't. It doesn't change anything for our county buildings or our county libraries or our health offices. Any of those, you still have to wear a mask because we're still under the administrative protocols. And so that's something that we'll continue to do here. But the argument was that the mask resolution didn't really have any teeth. And so unfortunately that failed, and our mask requirement in Pima County will expire at the end of this month. The other item that we talked about was trying to address leave and COVID leave with our employees, and I was advocating for us to really look and see how an equitable distribution of those hours, potential payout of COVID leave, how that would work. This item was pulled and moved to March 1st, and I'm hoping to work with County Administrator Jan Lesher to come up with what I think, well, at least what I'm going to propose is a more equitable distribution. And so I'll have more details on that. And so while we did have, the biggest item I think of the day was voting 4-1 for the authorization of vote centers. And so it was a pretty complicated vote, mostly because I think Chair Bronson came out early in the item requesting that we postpone the item to the end of March, to our second meeting in March. And that would really cause some delays in the purchase of the e-poll books. And I think that proposal was made by design in order to keep pushing the can down the road until we can't implement it for this upcoming election in November. We had interim director Mary Madison, and we also had our county recorder Gabriela Casares Kelly and all of their staff available for a presentation. We voted on the item. It passed 3-2, and then we couldn't discuss the item because the vote was over. So then we started to move on to item 16. We reconsidered the vote on 15 in order to have a really thorough discussion, in order for transparency in order for us to be able to discuss it. So I just want to highlight the fact that we have 11 of our 15 counties in Arizona are using voting centers. And 14 of the 15, so Pima County is the only one that is not using e-poll books. And what the process is the e-poll book you check in, and it verifies that you're a registered voter, it verifies your identity, goes through that entire process, and then you vote. And the voting centers would allow people from wherever you are. So if I didn't vote at home and I'm going to be an election day voter, I can vote at my nearest voting center and not have to go back home to vote at my designated polling center. I think that this is going to be really polling places versus voting centers. It's really going to draw more people to be able to vote with greater ease. I think that's what the point is. And what I'm going to be doing is asking our interim county administrator, Jan Lesher, to work with staff to come up with the protocols, policy, or some sort of administrative regulation that's going to really dictate the equitable distribution of these voting centers, because I think that's sort of the next piece. I do want to say that Recorder Casares Kelly is my friend. I greatly respect her, and we supported each other during the election. One of the mandates that she was elected overwhelmingly in Pima County to do was to start moving towards voting centers. And they've been doing that since they were elected into office 13 months ago. She had to endure a really unwarranted, undeserved criticism about her capabilities as a recorder. And as a fellow elected person and a person of color, it greatly offended me. I said so during the meeting that she didn't deserve it. And I also seconded Dr. Hines in requesting the presentation so the community would know how transparent and how hard that they're working to make sure that this is a successful transition. We're going to be moving towards vote centers, and the second time around when we voted, the item passed 4-1. So I just want to thank everyone that was on the call for being exceedingly professional and putting aside personal attacks on their credibility and really presenting what I thought was a really thorough and concise explanation of what this would mean for Pima County. It was a good day. Unfortunately, it was clouded by just personal attacks that I don't see any point. They're undeserved and there's no place for those in our discussions, our political discussions in this democracy that we have. So those were the big items. I think that, our next board meeting is going to be on Tuesday, March 1st. I hope you all will join us. And if you have any activities coming up, any projects, anything that we can partner with you on, anything that you'd like us to sort of amplify with what the social media presence that we have, and we'd love to help you out. Also would like to encourage you to please sign up for our newsletter and to follow us on all of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and keep in touch with Pima County Politics. Thank you so much, friends. Have a great day.